Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of The Suited Shootist. And embarrassingly, this video is long overdue. And you're probably wondering why. Number one, am I actually doing like a reacts video? Because I never do those. And second of all, why would I choose Lucky Gunner to start this off with? Well, very good reason. I honestly owe a lot of the success of the channel to Lucky Gunner and to Chris Baker, because a few years back, he fielded a customer's email of his asking about, questions on dressing like a normal person around a gun. And he was gracious enough to feature me in that video. And the ensuing traffic and algorithm shift was really one of the things that helped accelerate the growth of the channel. So really, I do owe quite a bit to that one in particular. And it's also because I really disagree with him on a major claim that he makes in that video. So let's take a look at the clip.
Dear LG team, what would you guys think about doing an in-depth article on how to stylishly dress around a concealed firearm? But I would honestly prefer to dress more like Chris Baker if someone could just give me some advice on how. Well, Cameron, I am flattered that you would think of me for this topic. I am sure a lot of people, my wife included, would find it amusing that anyone would look to me for advice on how to dress stylishly.
And this is the interesting part, because he contradicts himself in that one statement. Is he a particularly fashionable individual? No. But the reality is this highlights one of the main points that I try and drive home about the difference between style and fashion. And Chris is a relatively stylish individual from the standpoint of, yes, his wardrobe is very minimalist and it's fairly simple. That's okay. Everything that he wears is authentic. It fits him. That's really the most critical part. And, it suits him. None of this is costume. None of this is, superfluous. And I really think that that's important to focus on, because in a way he and I are kind of two sides of the same coin. I'm a little bit more flamboyant about it, especially on the channel, because I've got to mix it up. I need to keep things eye-catching. But when you look at like the photos of me at TechCon, for example, I'm not dressed as formally as I am in my videos and some of the stuff that I'll put up on like Instagram, but I still consider myself to be well dressed in those environments. And again, when you look at how Chris has put his wardrobe together, specifically the thought that he's put into it, that's all that it takes, guys. It's really as simple as finding a couple of colors that suit and flatter you. Finding a few staple pieces that you can just have in a rotation, and, keeping everything kind of subtle and understated. And really the only statement piece that you could really say that he has is that kind of field-esque jacket that he wears, kind of the chore coat kind of vibe. And, given the fact that he, from my understanding, lives in a slightly more rural setting, I think he's got like a chicken coop and some other stuff. Contextually, it's very appropriate, but it strikes a good balance of form and function, because it's not something that you see everybody wear. It's authentic to who he is as a person. And, just the way he wears it, there's something of note there. And so I really do think that it's relevant to this whole conversation, to where you don't have to be wearing designer Italian, I've got an Isaiah jacket and a Frey dress shirt on. And, unless you're a style geek or unless you routinely shop at places like Saks Fifth Avenue, those brands don't mean anything to you. And that's fine, because that's not the point. I don't buy these things because of the brand. I buy them because the material and the construction is infinitely better than what I'm going to get at Macy's or Men's Warehouse or any of the other, department stores that are selling $20 jackets at a, grotesque markup. So again, I want to highlight Chris and Lucky Gunner because, number one, I'm saying this a little bit cheekily, but he's wrong. He is a great person to model your style after, especially if you like things simple, you like things understated, you're maybe a little bit more of the kind of the rugged aesthetic. And if you're looking at a place to start, he's actually a pretty good jumping off point. So again, Chris, I greatly appreciate the shout out. I know the traffic I'm going to be sending you is not going to be even remotely as much as what you had sent me, but I did want to call this out because I do think that there are folks within the space that have a public face that don't necessarily get that attention when they're setting a good example. They may not necessarily be setting it in the same way that I am. But again, not everybody has an interest of dressing in this fashion. So I want to make this accessible to as many people as possible. And my hope is that highlighting someone like Chris that's got a much more conservative and understated and simple aesthetic starts to shine a light on how easy this really can be for people. So let me know what you think. What do you like about Chris's style? Other than that, everybody has a fantastic week. Stay dangerous. Stay sharp.